superstars. It's Peps. It's Lace Out's round 8 AFL review. And I can tell you now, I am pumped for a massive, massive show. Everybody is on the chat. I can see them all dropping right now. Everybody's tuned in over the last couple of weeks, the entire season. Thank you very, very much, because without you, we don't have a show. And without us, you don't really have much of a good quality AFL podcast, no fluff included, to listen to. But before we get into it, got a massive co-host with us. Now, over the last number of weeks, we've been speaking about this guy because, as you know, Jamie the J-Dog Wallis has left the show, family commitments, work commitments, and we've loved him. For over 5 years, he was part of the show. And so a few people have put their hands up. A massive, awesome response to Tommy Roker. How good was Tommy last week? Absolutely sensational. So he'll be back later on in the future. We've already organised a couple for the next few weeks as well. But tonight's guest is, like I said, we've spoken about him a number of times, and it's going to be awesome to finally get him on the pod. But before we do that, if you haven't given us a like or a subscribe, hey, go ahead and do so. Make sure you tell all your friends and family how good this podcast is, because literally it is the best non-club affiliated podcast this side of the Westgate Bridge here in Melbourne. But more importantly, let's get our guest on. We've spoken about him many, many times. You've heard his name many, many times. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's co-host with the most is this guy, Jamie the J-Dog.
Hey!
J-Dog is back. Check out that sexy Mo. How are you, big boy?
I am very well, and good evening, listeners, from a new time slot. Peps, it's all been look, I've stayed away from the socials. I've stayed away from you and the podcast. One, because I just want to put all the rumours to rest. I can confirm that Peps fired me. He said, Jamie, you're out of here. You're no good. If Kenny's leaving this season, we want you also to follow that door that's open. So just leave now. No, it's not all true. Peps, thanks for having me on, mate.
Mate, I'll tell you what, so this is literally what happened. Obviously, we get a co-host every second week because, it's better. What's better than me just by myself, having somebody who keeps me under control? And we were putting the messages out there to get somebody involved. And because of a late night, so first thing is we're going to Monday nights now. So Monday, Tuesday morning, you'll be able to get a copy of the pod. So it gives you an extra day to have a bit of a listen because it is that awesome. But now we're going to be Mondays, just from a few things from a family perspective. I just got to make a bit of an alter. And then the great man jumped on and said, hey, if you haven't got one for tonight, I'll be happy to jump on. I'm going, the fans will be going absolutely berserko. Cocoa bananas have the great man on board. So it is awesome. How have you seen the season so far, great man?
Look, good season. I mean, are there really any surprises to this? I mean, our ladders were pretty close. So...
I think there are a few, and I'm happy to get into it to the point that we've got our usual bits and pieces that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah,
but we're going to be freeballing a lot of the episode as well too, because
I only freeball. Peps, you sent me the notes. You think I'm going to read the notes?
You never read them in 5 years. What are the chances of you reading them?
I'm never reading those notes.
He's not reading them, but no, we've got all the usual segments will be back. We'll be spinning magnet.
We do.
We'll be going through the scoreboard. We'll be talking a little bit of bags. We'll have a little bit of the Rising Star nominee has come out earlier as well. A bit of contract information. Journey to the draft. Our boy Jacob Grant. Some massive news about what's going on with him. And also, just remember that this show has been sponsored by the amazing TechPlex solutions for all your home and commercial security needs. TechPlex. You can't ask for better. They're just absolutely awesome. And it's great to see my mate, Fang Ali, good old Lee, whistle into a headwind on the chat as well too. His mob St Albans went down in the thirds on the weekend. He didn't do much, understandably so. All right, J-Dog, as we would normally say, I won't say about what's been going on over your weekend. What have you been up to in the last month?
Mate, it's been all going on.
We already started, J-Dog. It's finally great to have a decent host on tonight.
I tell you what, it's all been happening. I've been to Bali again, Peps. So that was an experience. Getting some warm weather, Peps. What else has been happening? Just life in general at the moment. Just life in general, Peps. Doing the whole, because Tuesday nights were just absolutely rubbish for me. I just struggled to fit it all in. But the Monday night shift, it works a little better for the family situation because, and I come from this this is no jokes aside. We do not get paid for this. This is our extra on top of our full-time job plus dad life. And sometimes it's hard to make the schedules work. And so when Pep said that there's a bit of a shift now for him to a Monday, that also works a little bit better for me. But at the time, it wasn't an option that we could do this at that time.
Yeah. And you know what? Life, as like my son says, when the pain goes away, life takes its place. And when the pain of you leaving left, we found someone to take your place. And Tommy Roker killed it last week. If you haven't had a chance to listen, Tommy loves his Gold Coast Suns. Could you imagine him on there tonight?
Well,
He would be
Tommy bought stats and facts to back up the opinions.
Yep.
Everything that I'm not.
Everything you never brought over 5 years. But hey, let's not rue the negatives. The positives is having your back. But also, I can let you know that the great man next week, Charlie Keegan, who's been on the chat for 5 years, he'll be joining me live on the chat. He loves his Essendon Football Club, and he'll be going absolute cocoa bananas, Mick Malloy style about them next week. So Charlie Keegan is on the pod with me next week. All right, let's get into the ladder. Now, one of the things that we spoke about very, very briefly before we got on was the way that the ladder is looking at the moment. All right. Collingwood is on top, 1 game clear from my mob. St Kilda, Brisbane and Port Adelaide. 4 doesn't go into 3. So one of those teams is going to have to miss the top 4. And I reckon I might know who that's going to be honest. Then you've got the Geelong Cats finally in, Bulldogs are in, and Carlton. Like, seriously, they are skin of their teeth stuff staying in the final 8. You got Essendon, who were gallant on the weekend, Adelaide Crows, Sydney Swans, Fremantle, GWS, Gold Coast Suns. Multitude of those teams are on 12. Richmond are on 10th. North Melbourne on 8. And West Coast and Hawthorn are all into Harley Reid. Now, if we have a look at the final 8, I said last week that the final 8 is pretty much locked in. There's only one team I can see dropping out of that final 8 right now, and that has to be Carlton. Because they're putrid. They're putrid.
So who comes up?
Call right now, J-Dog. I would say Carlton out, Adelaide in.
Okay. All right. I'm more bullish on Carlton than I am the Western Bulldogs. I think the rest is set, but I reckon Western Bulldogs are the team that's going to fall out.
Interesting. Well, they're a game in hand, the worst percentage of any team in there. So they're going to have to start kicking some scores because you have a look at the teams at the top of the ladder. Melbourne are on 138, St Kilda are on 137, Brisbane 122, even Geelong at 135. Massive percentages. Collingwood are on 121 and they're at top of the ladder. So they've got games in hand and a healthy percentage.
Yeah.
Adelaide are at 108. Carlton are on 18 points, only 2 points in front, and they're behind percentage on those two teams. I just think that they're the most vulnerable. I think Western Bulldogs are playing much better football, and I just do not trust Carlton whatsoever at the moment. So I'm tipping Adelaide to go in. And if Essendon made it, people say that I don't like Essendon. Well, that's a fact. But if they made finals this year, I would not be disappointed for them, all their supporters to get on board and see them enter the finals, potentially against your mob, and give them an absolute pounding.
Since the 8 has been brought into the competition, the top 8, no team from this point has fallen out from the top 5.
Out of the 5?
Yeah.
So those 5 are locked in?
Yeah. They locked into the 8. No team outside of that has ever fallen out.
The only one that I can look at is Geelong, maybe to push up. I think St Kilda are the team that are susceptible to drop out of the top 4. They will play finals, but they are the most susceptible for a top 4 position. But look, it's exciting. What are we? Round 8. Normally by about round 7, 8, 9, it's usually locked in. But just because of the way that games are being laid out this year, I'm really not sure on how it's all going to come into play. So it's going to be an interesting sort of setup. All right, J-Dog. Hey, listen, I don't know if you noticed this, but usually on Tuesdays there's a Rising Star nomination. They must have heard that we were going live because they've launched the round 8 Rising Star, and it is from the Santa Kilda Football Club. Mateus Filippo reached a new heights. He took an absolute hanger on the weekend, and he picked up the Rising Star Award. 13 disposals, 4 tackles, 6 marks against North Melbourne on Sunday afternoon. And he's got him a Mark of the Year nomination. He's been putting a nice little CV together for his first season. So good on you, Mateus Filipu, the round 8 rising star. Did you see his hanger he took?
Wasn't bad, and
Ooh.
I would like to get him back to South Australia if it's possible.
You reckon he's a chance?
Probably not.
Maybe
It'll be good to see him back in South Australia.
All right, okay. Journey to the draft, everybody. We've had a bit of a chat about this one over the last few weeks. We are following Jacob Grant from the Dandenong Stingrays. Now, if you don't know who Jacob Grant is, he is an absolute gem. He's playing for the Dandenong Stingrays. He's been in the Vic Country team, had a trial game a couple of weeks ago. Well, we're taking it to the next step. On Sunday afternoon, the Young Guns versus Vic Country, the final tune-up game for the National Championships, and the team will be selected, are playing, and he is going to get a spot. So if you can make it out to Icon Park, get out there and watch the Young Guns versus Vic Country. The Young Guns beat Vic Metro last week, but Vic Country have some more testicular fortitude, and I reckon they are going to take it out. And I think you can also stream it through the Clutch app as well too, or more info on the Coates site. But I reckon he's going to get picked up this year. There's just something within my bones, and if he nominates for the draft, exciting things. I don't want to ruin it, but let's just say might have to have a live broadcast from the draft house. You never know what's going to happen. Could be massive. Could be huge. Absolutely huge. If he decides to get the draft. All right, J-Dog, what do you want to do? You want to spin some magnets? You want to splash some cash? It's up to you. You're the one with the sexy mo tonight. What would you like to do?
Let's go with a bit of spin the magnets.
Spin the magnets. All right, let's go. You know what? Let's go with the good stuff because we're wrapped to have you on board. AD, are you there, big fella?
3 votes.
All right, let's give some 3 votes out. Rightio. Now, the first one I have to roll out for is the Gold Coast VFL team. Now, why am I talking about Gold Coast? They did get beaten by a superior team on the weekend in probably one of the hardest games I've seen from a brutality perspective, the D's versus Gold Coast on Saturday afternoon. But their VFL team are flying on top of the ladder, undefeated, taking everyone in front of them. So the future is bright for the Gold Coast Suns. If their talent is running around and doing that to the second best competition or second tier competition in the country, they've got a bright future. And if you have a look at some of the names that were running around, they were absolutely killing it. I think Alex Sexton kicked 5 or 6. He had an absolute blinder again too. So I don't understand why he's not on his list, but that's another story. So I'm really happy for Gold Coast. They're starting to string some confidence in their on-field in the ones, and their twos are dominating it as well too. All right. There were no bags this weekend, which is really, really disappointing because I would have loved to have come on the show and be able to roll out a bit of bags. We love it when they're kicking. Love that. Who the heck do you not like bags? It's the greatest song ever.
Well, it's probably the reverse bags. It was just terrible kicking, Peps.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit average. And the thing to take out of it, J-Dog, was that there were no bags.
No.
Career best for Brody Mycher, kicking 5. And you consider that game was pretty much even Steven at 3/4 time. They came out and dominated that last quarter. So between them and Melbourne, the best 2 last quarter teams from a fitness perspective. But I still think
Settle.
I think Geelong, and I also think
Settle
down.
No, you calm down. Come on. Melbourne have played the bottom 4 teams. Calm.
Can you just shut up for a second? Where's Charlie Keegan? Can you come on 1 week early, please, big boy? And the other thing I want to row is Mr. Roses from the Gold Coast Sun kicked 4 for his career high as well too, in a cracking game of footy as well. Yep. So I love that. And look, it's been Gold Coast Sun centric. Can I go one more? Look, there's been some strange cats out there. But I reckon one of the strangest cats running around, he does play for the Gold Coast. He is a redhead, so he's got 2 things against him. Matt Rowell, is there anything funnier than the bloke just sitting and eating some grass before the game? I know I'd like to really get a feel for the game, get a feel for the ground, but unbelievable what he was rolling out there too. So
it's odd, isn't it? It's a bit odd.
It is odd. Like most people would go a salad roll. I knew guys that used to have pie and a Coke before a game. I don't know.
That's true seconds behaviour.
That is true seconds behaviour. Oh, true first behaviour. They'd have a litre Gatorade as well too, but I don't think anybody chewed down on the Kentucky bluegrass early on before a game as well too. So
it's interesting.
Unbelievable. All right. J-Dog, you know what that means. We're going to have to drag a few people, and that only means one person and one person only.
Haley off, Ellingworth on. Bloody weakest piss.
All right. Can I talk about going from chocolates to boiled lollies in the space of a week?
Sure.
West Coast Eagles, Jai Culley, set the world on fire. Kicked 4, I think, the previous week in the West Coast loss. And unfortunately on the weekend, but that weekend got the Rising Star nomination. And what happens? Goes ahead and does his knee. Like, can you get any worse for West Coast? I don't think there's anyone left. I wouldn't be surprised if our phones start pinging. We'll have to get a game for West Coast soon. That's how bad they're going. But just bad news for the guy. Like, he's come out. He looks the absolute goods, has a probably career best game the week before, and then goes ahead and does his knee. So just not great news. So all the best in his recovery. Did you see the do you remember the movie The Fantastic Four with Johnny Storm, the Human Torch?
I do remember Johnny Storm.
You know the Human Torch of the
Captain America?
No.
It's Captain America.
It was Captain America. But
thank you.
It was actually it was also Paulo Creed's son. And the other one as well too.
That's true. The remake of the
what I'm going to say is, did you see the Human Torch is now known as Joe? Oh, I forgot his name. Danaher. What's it, Joe Danaher from Brisbane?
You get all the way to the punchline.
I forgot it. Joe Danaher. Did you see his epic burn on Zach Bailey? Gets the ball, 60 large out. Bailey's sitting there, 40, 45 out, like no one around him. It's like he had the plague. Like he had not pneumonia, anthrax or gout.
Yep.
No one wanted to go near him. And he's just gone from 60, bang. And it went through, but the look and the hands, it was Richo-like. But it went through, and they ended up winning the game. But, geez, it was Mr. Byrne or the Human Torch. It was a corker. One last, we love our footy, whether it's real. When it comes to virtual footy, AFL 23, has there been any more of a disaster of a launch that this game has had? But for anybody who doesn't know, so this game went out. It wasn't ready when it went out. They've had patch after patch after patch. Everybody who's played it has either said it's okay or putrid. And what I found out, my brother was telling me, the Love Machine, that Red Ant put the wrong copy of the game on the discs that got sent out.
No.
So it was like a pre-release version of the game. So it should have been the next. So that's why they had to do patch after patch after patch after patch to get it right too. So it is, according to Craigie Jones, the game still isn't playable. A little bit like up until the last few weeks, Kenny's game plan.
It's the hey, Kenny's a legend. The screenshots from the AFL game have actually been amazing. Like the West Coast player sitting in the shed, lining up for a goal.
I saw Adam Simpson as the goal umpire.
Yep. There's also been, I think, was it Brad or Chris Scott getting done dirty with a bald head and a mo? Like it was just.
It is just
it's amazing.
Just through the pooch. So you know what, J-Dog? I reckon there's only one that they should go back to the old Nintendo footy. Remember Nintendo footy?
Yeah, that's the best.
Was there anything better than playing that game? And then when you heard this, you just smiled.
Out of bounds on the full.
Was it
greatest?
The greatest. Just
out of bounds on the full.
I don't need no comedieisms. I don't need Hutto. I don't need anyone else. I just need
out of bounds on the full.
Out of bounds on the full.
That's all you need, mate. It's just a D-pad and an A and a B button. That's all you need.
What do you need? And just they had all the teams there as well too.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. They just make more than it needs to be. All right. Hey, a couple of things that have come through on the chat, J-Dog. Everybody's gone bananas for you. They're rapt to have you back. They want to get rid of me and keep you on, so hopefully maybe Charlie Keegan goes with you next week and I take a sabbatical. Apparently now, you might have to allow some further info on this as well too, but do you know about apparently a racism row hearing its head again.
Yeah.
It's run towards Junior Rioli. Do you know
Yeah. Oh, it's just once again, it's just with our sponsor, Peps, with our sponsor.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to swear at our sponsor? What's the rules here?
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Comes to this,
Just wankers. Just wankers.
Yeah. If
99.9% of the world understand what is the wrong and right thing. It's the 0.1% that screws it for the rest of us. And I hope that the full force of whatever comes.
I know that they've been saying there's about 9 people have had lifetime bans applied. Should they name them or not? Now, I see both sides of the argument. Yes, I think they should name them, but then the social media recourse and I agree with that. So
look, I can say what I want because I'm only just on the show for one night, really. I am all for banning people. I'm not all for lifetime bans of people. I don't think that gives people a chance to learn and educate because we all have come from places before where we have made mistakes and have learnt from them in the past.
Yep.
I don't think a lifetime ban is the solution. I think a ban is definitely on the card, but a lifetime feels a bit extreme when everyone gets a chance to learn.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, look, I agree. I just think that's just stupidity. It's just incompetence. It's uneducated.
Fools. They're fools. They're idiots.
Yeah.
That's all.
It says more about them than Junior. But mind you, he copped his fair whack, no pun intended, with a 3-week holiday he'll probably get from the tribunal.
Oh, come on. Did you see the guy? Did you see him roll and prop and then drop about 14 minutes after Rioli walked past him?
It was Ric Flair-like. It was like the Flair fly.
I actually thought he didn't even hit him at the start because he just walked past him and then a minute later he drops.
He spun. Oh, yeah, he spun big time. Now, Nick Hogan is on the chat tonight. He says, can we get into a little bit more about Collingwood? Yes, we will, and I'll tell you who can stop them. They haven't played them yet, but let's just say they are a team that rhymes with Melbourne.
Calm down again. I've come in to put my Melbourne sheriff hat on.
Yeah.
You need to calm down already. Right. I'm bringing the yellow card out.
Hey, the send-off rule. That might be something that they should have applied on the weekend. Now we're going to talk about each of the games in a really brief, a little bit later on as well too. Yes, Craig Jones. I was talking about North Melbourne as well too. All right, J-Dog. Couple of things I want to ask you. The 4 umpires, are they working from your perspective? Are you liking what you're seeing with the changes that have been rolled out so far?
You can put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up. I don't care how many umpires you put on there. The game is a farce. It is bullshit.
All right, talk about it. Talk about the bullshit.
All right, I'll talk about the bullshit.
All right, here we go. This is what we've been chewing. This is what we've been waiting for.
This is why it's bullshit.
Man. Talk about it.
When you get given a rule, Peps, it's either wrong or right, or it's a yes and a no. It's a rule. The problem with the game is there is an individual interpretation on every rule, which makes it not a rule, it's a guideline. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't care how many umpires you have. It's an individual interpretation of what is a rule.
I love the one. There's 2 that I've seen on the weekend. I saw one of the games. It might have been, I don't know if it was the Collingwood game or it was the Gold Coast game. I can't remember our game. One of the guys has just kicked it. Oh, it was the Gold Coast game. One of the blokes out of the back line has kicked it towards Ben King, but because it bounced on set and kept rolling and he couldn't get closer to it, the umpires paid insufficient intent. Yet, I've said this before, unless they can read minds, how can they honestly say what the intent is?
Correct. Did you know that you can get a free kick paid against you for appealing for a free kick appealing for a free kick for a deliberate rush? Did you know you get a free kick against you for that?
For a deliberate rushed?
No, deliberate rushed. It was deliberate rushed. Clearly walked through.
Yeah.
There was an appeal for saying, come on, that's deliberate. Yeah, turn around, a bit of the arms out action, a bit of the arm up action. You give someone a tackle on the ground, then you put your arm up and go, come on, this is holding the ball. Turn around, give the umpire a bit of that. No, free kick for that. He got a free kick for appealing for a free kick.
Oh, I got another one. What about you can apparently rip out someone's GPS and throw it away and you get a free kick for that?
Unbelievable. Oh, anyway,
mouth guard.
Look,
but it's all over the joint. And the other one, so Jacob Van Ruin, I know it's a Melbourne one, but this is the one that a lot of people are throwing up about. He's been given a 2-week ban. It's going to the tribunal for this is the thing, for making contact with Charlie Ballard.
Yeah.
In a marking contest. But one of the classics is that he lowered his eyes. Now, I don't know if you've seen the footage, Jamie, but it's from behind. Now, unless he's got that face act.
Yes.
Unless he's got the face act that Will Ferrell rolled out in the movie The Other Guys, which he made a lot of money on, the face act. I don't know how you can honestly see where his eyes were pointing. It's just, they just make up shit. They just make it up right now.
And the players probably
Everybody's just over it. And the fact that there's nobody in charge of the rules right now, head of football in the AFL, is even a bigger farce. Like, if Brad Scott goes ahead and takes a role, they haven't replaced him. And we're 8 rounds into a season.
But at the same time, Peps, let's be honest, it's kind of the fun of the game, isn't it?
Oh, we would never show if everything worked well.
It's kind of fun. Like, it's the emotion of it.
Oh, it's absolute emotional. But it's just, and they're paying the Ticky Touchwood ones when, and like the Jaden Stevenson one, like the one that you did the other week. The only way that I could tell the two of you apart now is because you got a mo. But the one where he showed him what he did, and he was right. He did duck. It's just getting out of control.
All right, I'll ask this question.
Yep.
Has the game umpiring got better with the move of one extra umpire?
Who?
No.
Made it worse. It's made it worse. Backman can't do anything. They can't spoil. They can't smack their hands. They're literally obsolete. It's turning into goalkeepers versus goal attacks in netball. You do make body contact. Even the
problem
guy
is,
hasn't got any concussions or whatever, we're going to send him to the tribunal because
this is the problem I'm seeing, Peps. You have umpires on field looking at each other at who's going to make the call.
Well, umpires are making the call from like 100 metres away. And there's 2 umpires in the middle. And then they said, we should give goal umpires and boundary umpires who are in better positions the opportunity to pay free kicks.
Yeah. Anyway, what else can we talk about? Surely there's some games on the weekend we can talk about.
Yeah, we're going to get to the games in a moment. And then I want to get your thoughts, 3 words on each team, or less, or just what you've seen so far this year too. But definitely want to get into the games. But before we do, we have to throw a bit of this around, J-Dog. Is it payday for you?
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Payday
Money
for these two.
Here comes the money. Money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Cut the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Greg Close, Oliver Dempsey, Greg Close, Premiership superstar. I've thrown that word around very, very liberally tonight. And Oliver Dempsey going to be there for another couple of years too. So good on to those young guys, getting a bit of cash as well too, which is absolutely sensational. Look at the Roo boy, J-Dog, he's back. He is absolutely look, J-Dog is back. He's Chubbs Farquhar. He's back for tonight. Absolutely wrapped. All right, let's have a look at the games for the weekend because it's time for this week's edition of Scoreboard. That one needs to start being away. All right.
I like it.
On Friday night, it was Carlton versus Brisbane. We saw what happened. Brisbane dominated, wins by 26 points. It was the Josh Dunkley show, really. He took the living piss out of this game.
Yeah.
He was absolutely sensational. He was literally, in my eyes, the number one best player on the park. But he's gone around. Like if you even just have a look at his disposal count for the game, it was just. I don't know what you can say about this bloke. He's gone and just made this club so much better than what they were by just having that extra midfielder because he adds defensive pressure, which they never had for quite a long time.
Yep.
So he's come out, he's had 33, he's gone at 60%, 555 metres gained, but he's had 11 marks in that, 14 contested possessions, and I might as well just chuck in an extra 13. 13 tackles.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Chera was pretty good as well too, but I thought for the first, it was a bit of a shootout for that first quarter, and then it just sort of opened up after there, and every time Carlton seemed to try and get back, just Brisbane did what they did. And what more can you say about people like Charlie Cameron? What more can you say about, McCluggage was awesome, Berry was awesome. They're going all right at the moment, Brisbane. They're starting to get a bit of their expected mojo back, but it's going to come down to those, Danaher and Hipwood. Can they fire during finals? And Payne was magnificent for them as well too.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I don't know. I was more interested in the Carlton story than the Brisbane story, to be honest with you. I mean, 5 wins in a row now for Brisbane, which is pretty good. But you know, I suppose the top 4 are starting to really fire now, and Carlton have just seemed to falter over those last couple of weeks. So it's interesting.
Pedestrian like. Just midfield is slow. I don't see another backman who can dominate outside of Wiedering.
Yeah.
Mackay's kicking is just all over the joint, and if Curnow doesn't score, then who else is really going to be there to kick a bag? Like, Dado can kick him, and Hipwood doesn't kick him. You know, Charlie Cameron's there, or Berry's there. They've got backups. I don't see that with Carlton. And if Cripps doesn't fire, but it's just, and like Harris Andrews just did the job on Curnow, and Payne did the job on Mackay. Well, like, they're going all right, Brisbane, at the moment.
Yeah, Brisbane are going, going real good.
Real good. You know, it was also going real good as well. Richmond versus West Coast. Now, mind you, it was Richmond versus West Coast. It was 46 all. At one stage, West Coast were looking. Everybody was cheering.
Absolutely.
And they didn't. More injuries, something different. But it was good to see good old Shy back to his brilliance again.
Yeah, 3 goals.
Yeah, but it's just the style and the flair that we like to see that we haven't seen from him for a long time. Taranto came back and answered his critique, and I've been one of them. He played a great game on the weekend. Kicking needs some work. We all know that. But as someone had a crack at me on Twitter the other day, and he said, Peps, there's inside Bulls. Check out their disposal efficiencies. Not that good.
Yeah, never do.
Right. But, yeah, he did what he had to do on the weekend. He kicked 2. He had 30. He went at 53%. But mind you, had 20 contested possessions out of those 30.
It was good for Richmond to turn up to watch their team have a big win.
Yeah, exactly.
28,000.
It was at the MCG, wasn't it?
Yeah, 28,000.
Turned up. Yeah, they turned up. Yeah, but they got 100,000 supporters, Jamie.
Yeah, I know.
100,000.
Yeah,
You see them all turn up.
all the games should be at the MCG. Is what was the feedback from the supporters? They want to go to Marvel Stadium. It's all at MCG.
You know what? They're not even turning up at the moment. How can you have 100,000 and only have 28,000 there? Don't pick on my club. And don't pick on any of the other so-called minnows, St Kilda, Owls, Western Bulldogs. When you got 100,000 and you only get 28 turn up, that's bullshit, mate. Bullshit. But oh, hey, Oscar Allen, he's having a fine season, I must admit, up forward. He's been a bit of a surprise packet. We knew that he had it, but just the consistency in a team that's been absolutely atrocious so far.
If they didn't have Oscar Allen, I actually don't know where the West Coast would be. And as I say it right now, Simo has got some huge problems to keep his job ended this season. He's brought him here. He's carried him to this. He is the reason why West Coast are as bad as they are. He's carried these old players for such a long time. Did the old Clarko top-up method. Doesn't work in the end. Never works.
You look back and go, it almost started when the Tim Kelly trade came through, didn't it?
They just shouldn't have kept these old players. They traded away good positions for these gun players that were already aging, and their list got older and older and older. And surprise, surprise.
But that's what happens when you win a flag. You think that they're still there, but they're not.
These 32, 33-year-old bodies, they just start to break down, and you have games like the Freo Derby where you lost 8-1. That's a freak incident, but this is what happens. It's happened for the last 2 years for them.
Well, it sort of happened a little bit on the next game as well, too, when Geelong and Adelaide had their game down at GMHBA. Cracking game, 26 points to Geelong. At one stage, Adelaide had them on toast, and it just sort of went backwards. Geelong did what they had to do. But you mentioned about old bodies. We were waiting for the first one to go, and it was their captain, Dangerfield. Twanged it, hammy gone. You'd expect him out for 3 weeks. This is something that I think a lot of people have, including myself, have said it has to happen. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen, where the bodies will start to catch up on them. Is this the first of many, do you think, J-Dog?
No.
No?
At the start of the year, you wrote Geelong off. I said I'm not prepared to do that. And This game on Saturday, Geelong basically were like the prize fighters with an up-and-comer. They just kept them at arm's length all game. 15, 20 points here and there about there, and just manage that.
And it's not often you'll see a guy who has 13 disposals going at 100% efficiency with only 131 metres gained get the 10 coaches' votes in Asava Radagalia. He's slotted into that back
Beautiful.
so nicely. It's just, he's a big boy. So they've got big boys down forward end and they've got a big boy sitting down in the back end. It's hard to get, and it's because GMHBA out on the weekend is 11 metres thinner on each side of the ground than I think a normal MCG type of game.
Which is interesting, Peps, because I mean, like, sorry, it's all there. Like, big body, tall, can take a mark. He can't kick for shit, but he's got a midfield to kick it to, or he can just handball it out of there and just run it down the field because it's such a small field.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why that wasn't tried earlier for him.
Look, it works for some, it doesn't work for others. I don't know. It's like coaches can be persistent. They can be stubborn. They put somebody into a position and they want to give it a number of weeks and they don't want to admit it's wrong. Sometimes it's out of necessity that they had to put him down. And Geelong had a bit of a rough start and they thought, well, we'll put him down back and see what happens. And it was probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He had an okay game and it's sort of built after that. But what he did on the weekend to pretty much stop Tex Walker to almost think it was 1 goal I think he had out of the game. He's done his job.
But make no mistake,
yeah.
Ezra has been shopped out by Geelong now for about 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He's been gettable.
Yeah, but every club has got a player that they've had on the shopping trolley for trade periods. Every club's got one.
I don't know. They might get a nice little bounce from him this year. Someone goes, I'm interested in a big backman.
I've spoken about many times. He was left out of the grand final team, which was an absolute travesty in itself. But Max Holmes, like everything they said about him, like he's Dangerfield light. He probably had his best game as well too. Inside ball, he had 22. He had 10 of those as contested possessions, 375 metres gained. But then you have a look at Jordan Dawson. Like he's come from Geelong and gone to Adelaide. Like he's in all-Australian form at the moment as well. He's had a cracking season. Darcy Fogarty got on the board as well too. Jeremy Cameron kicked his usual 3. So it was a bit of the old Geelong and a couple of the new guys from Adelaide's perspective. But then you have a look at Isaac Rankin's shot from the boundary. Like he's just gold to watch. I love it. Absolutely love what he brings. So
saying that,
yeah.
Still Chubbs Farquhar over what Jeremy Cameron can do.
No,
anywhere in that forward 50 arc, you just give it to Jeremy.
Just give it.
Give it to LeBron. Give it to
LeBron. And I can tell you now, LeBron had a shot in the last couple of minutes of the game in Gold Coast versus Melbourne, and then he bended like Petrarca in that game as well.
Lucky.
It was a lucky game. And I absolutely cracked it. I think I threw out a message when first I threw this one out. When's Goodwin's contract up? I did ask that.
You're a passionate man.
But I also said because Petty has been playing down forward, hasn't done virtually anything. And when you had Chol, King and Casbolt running around in their forward, you needed a bigger body down there. When the game was so tight, which let's be honest, Gold Coast should have won that. But as I've said, bad kicking is bad football. That was a perfect example of it. But they're just humming, but it's the same old, but this was a better same old, if that makes sense. Like what they served up was a finals-like competitive game. It was an absolute arm wrestle. And Melbourne, I think just from the experience side of things, got across the line. A couple of dodgy free kicks weren't paid. A couple of dodgy free kicks were paid. Yeah, but that
just going to check.
Yep.
Were we watching the same game? What was close about that last quarter? What was close about it?
The whole game?
No, like you're saying it was a arm wrestle.
Yeah. It was.
But the last quarter, you should have won that by 30, 40 points.
I want to get 2 goals in front. They'd bring it straight.
Yeah, but the last quarter.
That last quarter was.
You kicked.
How good is Noah Anderson, J-Dog? Did you realize he was good?
He was very good, but let's not. You guys kicked six behinds in the last quarter. That game should have been done by 40 points.
Should have been, but it wasn't.
True.
It wasn't. It just took P. Tracker from the boundary to put it through too. But just everything about this team is we want to see more of it. That's what we want to see. We want to see these players kicking a lot more. And you got Malcolm Roses kicks his 4 for a career high. Joel kicks 2. Ben King kicks 2. Casbolt kicks 2. So you're getting 6 out of your big boys. That's what they need to produce more often. Rao was absolutely sensational. Oliver did his usual party tricks. Like, for a guy who's a redhead, he is probably the best redhead running around since Malcolm Ross.
Not bad.
Matt Rao, like, he is Gold Coast Clayton Oliver.
As you said, Roses as well with his 4 goals, all that sort of stuff, yeah.
It was, if you have a look at it, they smashed Melbourne in contested possessions, they smashed them in the clearances, etc. Melbourne had to find a different way to win, and they did. Max Gawn stepped up when they needed to. Will Powell had a great game. Ali Fritsch didn't kick a goal for the first time in something like 37 weeks.
Grundy got a couple.
Too. So Melbourne, it's kind of interesting. I thought it was a pretty bad win until I went back and had a look at a bit of the game. A lot more of the game. And it was a real – and playing up there in Gold Coast isn't greatest conditions either.
Keziah Pickett almost got the contract curse, except the 2 goals saved him.
Nah.
8 disposals. My friend, 8 disposals. I don't think that's a great game.
No, but he hasn't sort of been himself since he got rubbed out after the spear tackle at the start of the year too. So, look, we go on to play Hawthorn next week. Gold Coast go on to whoever they play.
Another hard game for you guys. Whew, you guys are.
Hey, we don't make the fixtures, all right?
You fixture the fixture.
We do look forward to this fixture every year. It's the GWS versus the Western Bulldogs. Cracking game up there. It was once again back and forth. It wasn't even bad kicking. It was 10 goals 11 to 13 goals 8. The Western Bulldogs won by 15. But they keep going on about Josh Dacos, but is there a man at the moment who is in better form than the Bont?
Is there a man ever in the better form than the Bont? No. 32 disposals, 1 goal. It just makes it look easy. He makes a game look easy.
Yeah, I don't like it. There was one passage of play, I don't know what quarter it is, contested possession in the middle, burst through, and then bang laced out to the forward. I think it went to the Oogle, as my mum says, Jamara Googlehagen. And it was just like, you sit back and go, blokes that tall shouldn't be able to do that. And he's taken his game to another level. Like, he had 14 clearances. He went at close to 60%, 560 metres gained. He had 32, 26 were contested. So 26 of them, he had someone either hanging off him or he had to hang off someone to get the ball.
And 7 inside 50s.
Extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. And I know Dacos' last couple of weeks have probably been a little bit quieter. He'd have to be winning the Brownlow right now. He would have polled in 6 or 7 out of the 10 games. Sorry, 6 out of the 7 out of the 8 games. Easily.
Well, he's comfortably always been one of the best player on the field. So, yeah.
I know he's their best player, but he's got better. And GWS, you know that they weren't going to win this one as soon as Toby went out. But the other green had to step up, and he was sensational as well. He had 38.
The other T green.
Yep, the other T green. Tim English, probably the All-Australian ruckman, you'd almost say this year. He was at an absolute blinder as well too. But it was all the usual suspects. Like if you go down the page, Libba had 29, Bailey Smith had 32,
McRae
had 34,
McRae, Trelaw, as you said. Yep.
Tom Green, and once again, he had his 38 but kicked 3 as well too. And the astronaut finally was able to get on the scoreboard as well too, because his kick hadn't been fantastic, but it was a good game. It was a quality game. You don't expect anything different from these two because they literally hate each other since that 2016 prelim, and you know you're going to get a good game out of those two every day of the week. Hey, Fremantle Hawthorn, did you see the margin being this big, J-Dog?
No.
I think I even said on the tips, I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn won. But you've actually got to show up to win the game. And when you go down by AKA the dinner for 2, 69 points, you know you're going to be in trouble. But, hey, Jai Miss kicked 4, Michael Frederick kicked 4, Brayshaw kicked 2, Mitch Lewis was their only opportunity up front, but Luke Jackson probably had his best career game for the club. Probably his best career game, full stop, outside, I reckon, of the grand final, in a game he played against Richmond on an Anzac Eve game a couple of years ago. Took the 10 coaches' votes, but he went 24, 16, 58%, kicked a couple of goals too. I think that's what Fremantle have been waiting for. So he needs to do that more often. But you got to remember, the kid's only 21 years of age. He's going to be there for a long, long time. And he could be the next Bond if he does what we hopefully expect him to. Because I have good things for him.
Yeah.
And that's what the Fremantle supporters want, because they've been atrocious this year. They were a finals team last year, and they should be playing finals this year.
Yeah. And look, and the guns in that team stood up, like Brayshaw, 34, 2 goals. Like, yeah. They're I just didn't see the 3-quarter demolition after that. No. Like, Hawthorn were competitive at the start, like, this is gonna be, not the greatest game, I'm gonna say. But Fremantle just hit the turbo button, hit the NOS, and just accelerated. Gone. Catch you later.
Speaking to a Hawthorn guy today, and he said, look, we've got a good young batch of kids. Will Day's like far and above the best of them.
Yeah.
But they're just too young and they can't run out games. So it's going to be interesting what they do when they come back from the Perth this week. And once again, they've got a hard one against these. As you would say, another soft draw for us. And then that soft draw will continue the week after as well.
Yeah. Over the game on the weekend, Peps, I think their top 5 or 6 players are still probably under the age of 22, 23, except for Carl Amon.
Yeah.
Connor Nash, Will Day, James Warple, he's probably a couple of years old, he's probably about 24. Harry Morrison, Blake Hardwick, they're young kids.
Yeah, their top 5 rated players on the ground were Will Day.
Yeah.
He'll win their BNF. Easy. Mm-hmm. Connor Nash, Lloyd Meek, so he came across from Fremantle last year and finally stood up, or the year before.
What did he go? Yeah. Did all right.
Harry Morrison, Mitch Lewis, and Blake Hardwick. So Hardwick has been around for a bit of a while, but those first 5, you just want to see something, but how much longer can you wait? Like, it's been a couple of years that they've been like this.
Oh, are you putting down what I think you're putting down? About a movement of a particular coach? You putting down that?
No.
Okay. What do you mean then?
It'll be interesting to see what draft hand they get this year.
Okay. You're saying that they're tanking.
No, I'm not saying they're tanking.
But I mean, you know all about it.
It really has to have an ending, and I can understand what they're doing. It still has to have an ending, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced at the moment.
You're not convinced by their list?
Well, I think they cut too deep. I think they went way too deep. And I know they had to go deep, but if you're going to keep getting smacked week after week after week, that does nothing for the players. It does nothing for the fans. It does nothing for the club.
Okay.
So that club have to be pretty resolute in keeping that guy on board.
How long? How long do you think he has got?
What would you do? If this was Port Adelaide and they put in, and we're going to talk about another guy who's copped an absolute shellacking for the, I don't know how many weeks in a row, 6th week in a row, which is North Melbourne.
Yeah.
But if you were watching Hawthorn and you knew Mitchell was there, who's an untried coach, who's cut your lease to literally nothing, how long would you be prepared to wait before you saw some decent improvement? And when I say decent, I want to be like towards the 4.
I mean, it's not great for podcast and put my fingers up. 4.
Yeah, 4. For the people who can't view the audio, it's 4. Exactly.
Yes, 4 years.
So this is his 2nd?
Mm-hmm.
So you give him 2 more.
Yeah.
And you want to see some sort of progression.
Only because Clarkson absolutely ran that joint into the ground. I know he's a 3-time premiership coach, but he absolutely destroyed that list and that club.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'd go 2 more years on top of this.
Okay. Good point. Hey, talking about coaches who you want to get rid of, Kenny's boys. Tell us about your boys, big dog. 5 wins in a row. Tipping you never saw that coming. It was a cracker of a game, 5 points. Edison, Kilda and Essendon, the 2 big shifters this year. Essendon, you'd have to say, are the biggest surprise pack.
Yeah, I don't know what people are saying was close, like it's a close game. Yes, it's close on the score, but if you actually watch the game, Port had that game after quarter time.
Well,
we just couldn't kick a goal. Kick a goal.
You did what other teams have done on the weekend. It was a bad kicking round across the board, but 12-20, you've had 32 scoring shots to 21.
Yeah.
You should have won that by 5 to 6 minimum.
Minimum. It should have been. It's actually probably if you watch the game, you thought it was a 60-point game, a 10-point win.
Yep. But as Charlie Keegan said, Rioli knocked out their best defender.
Correct, and probably that did shift the game. I'm not going to lie. But the ball did live in our forward half after that. Just at the start, we could not get their hands on the ball. Draper was absolutely ripping us a new one. He's very good, and he did go a bit soft, and he had really not much of a competition to go up against. Teagle is just our ruckman. Teagle is just not AFL standard at the moment. And we did everything we tried to actually lose the game.
Butters BOG.
Oh, comfortably.
He'll be looking good in.
Tell you what, Peps.
Next year. Yep.
Horn Francis. Ooh.
Yep.
Horny Francis.
Horny balls now.
I've always been a big fan of Horny Francis, and he makes the loins tingle.
Is he the Wine's thighs being related by the horny balls?
I don't want to put the Wine thighs on him because I feel like I've ridden the Wine thighs cart for a long time, and he just hasn't looked the same player since his Brownlow.
Yeah.
What I love about Horn Francis, this is my unbiased opinion as much as I try to be. He is the combination of a Sam Powell Pepper.
Yeah, he's nanny power.
He's as tough as nails, and he goes in and has disregard for his body, but he has the size to actually pull it off.
Yeah, there's not many that can do that.
No.
As well too. Danger was a perfect example of that as well too.
Well, they're talking Danger, sort of like the architectural type of that player.
Yeah, but a better kick.
And someone can go in there, explode away from the pack, and just drag grown men with him holding the ball still.
Well, he had quite a game with 20, but he went at 70%. My bustling midfielders shouldn't be able to do that. I will say, though, Zach Merritt, his game, he's had 28 at 50. Okay. 500 metres gained, at 11 score involvements, 10 tackles. There was a shot I saw right into the 50 and just slotted it from outside 50 going towards the right of screen. And he's just got gun skills. Parrish is having a great season again. Will he be a next year? He's put his bits on pieces on hold. And Phillips down forward. Can't ask much more than that. I think Essendon, they won't play finals this year, but if they do, congratulations. But they're going in the right direction. Their coach has got them humming. And it was good to see Wiedemann kick a couple early on as well too. That was really nice to see.
Yep.
Two games. Collingwood versus... Now, this game was really absolutely killing it until the last quarter, and then Collingwood went whooshka. They won it by 29 when I think it was even Stevens virtually at three-quarter time, and it could have gone anywhere. So who did this say more about, Sydney or Collingwood from your perspective, Jada? How did you see it?
Collingwood. Collingwood are the Dom Toretto of the of the AFL world. They have got the fancy RXA. They've got the fancy RX7 with the fancy car, with the veal side body kit. They are looking the goods, Peps.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they get to the last quarter and they just accelerate through. Unbelievable. How have they done that now 2 seasons in a row is unbelievable.
They've changed the way that football's played, simply. And it's funny, though. I was talking about a guy who only had 100 and Sava Radigalia. How many metres gained did he have? 100 and...
Something, yeah.
I saw a guy get 9 coaches' votes and only had 56 metres gained. My check. His last quarter, he just did what he had to do. Like, he was just pipping him from everywhere.
Yep.
Like, that's what his job. I'm surprised that he was a rookie for so long.
Yep.
Pendlebury was back. Errol Goulden had his own footy for most of that game as well too. And
Dacos brothers doing Nick and Josh.
Dacos brothers, but he wasn't Dacos-like. When I say like the Josh Dacos was like the second week in a row that he got a bit of it, but he wasn't as damaging.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Jamie Elliott was a hell of a game.
Yeah. I just loved everything about this game. I just thought it was awesome. Mychek comes out and kicked 5, and considering that nobody else kicked more than double for the rest of the game, that in itself. The booing on Buddy, what the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry I swore, but what are they doing? What are they booing him for?
I don't understand it. Whatever, they pay their money. I don't understand why boo, but at the same time,
Nick Hogan, you're on the chat. You want to talk about Collingwood? Why did you boo Buddy? Give me a reason why, because it makes no sense why you would boo him. Is it because they booed Ginnivan last year? doesn't even make any sense. Was it because
Ginnivan getting dropped, Peps? What's the story behind that one there? Is there a story bit there?
I don't know. Nah, he got dropped.
Form?
Low hanging fruit.
More to it?
I don't know. I don't think there's more to it. It's like a hard team to get into.
Yeah.
There's teams at the moment where they've got pretty good injury levels, and you might have 5 small forwards, and if you're number 6 and you're coming back from injury, it's going to be hard to get back into it as well too. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what it is, but it was just pretty average. Bo Hawkins says it was white line fever.
I don't even care about booing. I don't even care.
Support across the white line.
Do you care about booing? Do you care about it?
They were doing before the game, which gave them a fever, which caused them to boo.
Do you care about the booing, really?
Look, if it's racially aimed at, no.
Yeah.
But if you boo a guy, or if you boo a guy for no reason, like the whole Horn Francis one the week before, doesn't make any sense. It
doesn't make sense, but do you care?
I just think it looks stupid.
I agree. It looks dumb.
I don't mind a boo. I'll throw a boo out there if I like to try and put him off a goal. Like, that's what we do. That's what footy's about. You can boo, but it's done in a joyful way. It's not done in a derogatory way.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, you just look like a dickhead. But especially that player's ripping you a new one, it makes it even funnier.
Yeah, and he wasn't doing that anyway, so I don't know what's going on. Hey, can I tell you what? The worst game by far on the weekend was the last game of the weekend. Just wait. If you think the last few weeks, the last game of the weekend has been sensational, and this mob had to go and throw it up. I don't think it's been since Melbourne. Oh, no, Port Adelaide. Were they the last team to not kick a goal before half-time?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not. But probably. It sounds like a stat that we'd love to have.
But we were the last team to not kick a goal in a final in the first half, but they kicked 6 points. Oh, my God. And then Larky comes out and kicks 3. Alistair Clarkson, you have got a job and a half to get this mob back because they're not even VFL standard at the moment.
I have no words. Well done, Jack Zeeble. Good job, Liam Shields. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about North Melbourne.
No.
Like, Goldie's still one of your best, more effective players on the field. He's 107. I don't know what to say. There is no words, Peps.
There wasn't much. Their backman got 7 coaches' votes.
Just got nothing.
Well, he was a bloke who was probably seeing it more than anyone. The forwards weren't seeing any of it. They're in a world of hurt.
There's just nothing.
There is nothing. There's nothing that makes me go, oh, I can see. Like, there's not even a spark. Like, when you're watching all those medical dramas and they've got the defibrillator up on the clear, and you wait for them. There's no at all. There's no heartbeat at all in this club.
Like, the fact that we talk about Nick Larkey, like, he had a shit game. He kicked 3 goals, but he only had 7 possessions. Like, I can't even say that's a good game. 3 goals and he gets like 50 Supercoach points. Like, it's nothing.
But how does a guy whose team kicks no goals for the first half had 36 touches? How did Jack Zeeble get coach's vote? He got 3.
Yeah, well, he did get 36 disposals and he did have...
At 94%. But I reckon a lot of those would have been short kicks either out of full back or the first kick in.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Apparently, Bo Hawkins says no quality from 24 to 30 years. For 24 to 30 years? No, between 24 and 30. Kills us. Probably got something right there. I don't know. I think they cut way too deep the first time round. They've never been able to get it back. If you're a person like Zerha, if you're a person like Nick Larkey, you'd have a think.
You can end your contract. You can end your contract.
You'd have a really good look at maybe moving on somewhere.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's and St Kilda. Once again, that game should have been done by half of the second quarter. You just couldn't kick straight.
It was done by half time.
It was done, but they couldn't kick straight.
Kick straight. You know who did kick straight? We have. We've kicked straight. We've kicked straight with that analysis of All right, J-Dog, really quickly.
Yes.
Have a look
Oh,
at-
hang on. I want to talk to you about something, Peps.
Oh, go for it. What?
Sorry, let's ask very quickly. Have you had a show since the Tasmanian news?
Yeah, last week.
Oh, did you? Did you talk about it?
We talked about it.
No, okay. All right.
Me and Tommy Roker talked about it.
All right. No
For
worries.
good news, they just
All
need a 20th team.
No, get fucked.
What are your thoughts?
Whatever.
Tasmanian team.
No, it would never work. It's a shithole down there. Why would you go down there for? Can't get crowds.
They're not going down there. They're going to have their own team.
You can't get crowds. No one's going to go down there. No player wants to go down to Tasmania because once the game's finished, what do? They're going to basically treat it like a Gold Coast situation, but a Gold Coast situation even worse than the Gold Coast.
I think Tassie a bit different. They love.
Yeah, you're going to go draft down there.
No, don't know.
2 years is done. They're back to the mainland. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Adelaide down there, I reckon. All right, J-Dog, want to go through these teams?
Yes, I do.
Just a 3-word analysis on what you've seen from these teams so far this year. All right,
Okay.
Let's go through them and I'll read them out. We're going to go in absolutely normal order. Adelaide.
High improvement.
Brisbane.
Steady as she goes.
Very nice. Carlton.
Choppy waters.
Collingwood.
100 shot of Nos.
100 shot on nice. Essendon.
Climbing slowly.
Ooh. Fremantle.
Anchored.
Wankers with anchors. Geelong.
Still upside.
Interesting. Gold Coast Suns.
Burn the joint down. Burn down.
Hawthorn.
Give them a go.
Melbourne.
Softest draw ever.
North Melbourne. North Melbourne. Softest club ever.
Hang on. Is it only 3 words?
You can have as many as you want.
Bring back the 90s.
Nice. All right. Port Adelaide.
Kenny Ground Guru.
Kenny, new contract. Richmond.
I'm loving it.
Where are your fans? I'm loving it.
Yeah.
What the
Because they're second off the... No, Richmond, they're second off the...
Oh, you're loving it.
Yeah.
Okay, get it now. St Kilda.
Not bad, not good.
Interesting. West Sydney.
Flatlined.
West Coast.
What's that one there? Could be living to potential.
And finally, Western Bulldog.
Irrelevant.
Oh, geez, Injury analysis. Back in about 6 weeks' time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute cracker of a show. We're going to go into 1 week. Have you got a game that you're looking forward to this week, Jada?
I do have a game looking forward to this week. I'm probably looking forward to... I can't say it's going to be a Richmond Collingwood Cats game. I'm probably looking at the Carlton Western Bulldogs. Would be one of them.
Yeah, I actually like the game right next door to it at the Gabba, Brisbane versus
It's a good one as well.
and Adelaide St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval as well too. I reckon those like I talked, Adelaide, St Kilda win it, they're in. They don't, Adelaide are in.
Are you playing Hawthorn this week?
Yeah.
This is a rort. This is the biggest rort I've ever seen.
And then we got the bye the week after against your mob.
Richmond 3 weeks ago, onto North, onto Suns, and now onto Hawthorn. Next, you're going to tell me you're playing West Coast the week after.
Well, we play your mob the week after.
This is a rort.
It is a rort. But you know what's not a rort? The single greatest podcast in the world. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live on the chat. It has gone absolutely bonkers on the chat tonight. So thank you, everybody, joining us. Hey, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. How good was it to have the great man back? The J-Dog. How good is he? He's just looking sexy. He's got a mo. We need to put a photo up on the chat because you're looking amazing on the web page. But it's great to have you back. How'd you feel settling back into the saddle?
Look, it was just like old times, like I'd done it about 4 weeks ago.
You did. So remember, I'll be back for Tipped Out this week. My tips are going absolutely nuts the last couple of weeks. I had a 9 the week before. Last week, I think I had 8. So you need to follow me if you want to win footy tipping. Follow moi because Pep 6 Tipped Out has got it for you.
Let me give you the hot tip, everyone. Admin writes he's going there changing tips after the game.
No, I do. I give out my tips before the games have been played, so we've got no issue. But remember, Monday nights, 8 o'clock will be the show from now on, so it should be, you'll be able to listen to it live Monday evening, Tuesday morning on the way to work, before your HR meeting, whatever it might be. But more importantly, Jamie the J-Dog, Wallis, great to have you back. And tell all your friends about the show because it's awesome. Give them a share. Give them a like. Get on Spotify and give us a like. If you give us a like on Spotify, I'll read your name out next week. Just tell us that you did it. But Jamie, that's laced out. That's round 8. But I have one question. If you remember what it is, I've only asked you about it 700 times. Jamie Wallis, the great Mushtaka. Jamie Wallis, how do you want your footy?
I like it lace out.
Oh, so do I, listeners. Hope your team wins on the weekend. And if it does, good luck. You know what I mean?
Good luck. Charlie Keegan next week.
Charlie Keegan next week. Charlie Keegan. Get on him. He's going to be awesome.
See you, listeners.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Place Out. Head over to iTunes and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. And remember, join us every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on our Facebook page with yours truly, Christopher Pepper, and the co-host with the most, Jamie Wallis, giving you your footy how you want it. Place Out.